I'm Michaela Noel.
I'm Cole Noel, and we've lived in this home about 10 months now.
We decided to go with Acadia Homes because they were just really quick to respond. We kind of put them through some tests. It was like we interviewed them, and they passed with flying colors.
Yeah, Michaela's dad is a custom home builder in Meridian, Idaho. And so because of that, not only did we have a lot of questions for Cody, but he had a ton of questions for Cody at Acadia Homes. And it really was like an interrogation. They sat down and it sounded like they were speaking a language that we had never heard before. But Cody obviously knew what he was talking about, and Acadia did. And ultimately we left the meeting and he was like, I feel very comfortable with him, and he obviously knows what he's doing. So when we got the green light from him, and then we also felt really good about it, it was a no-brainer to go with Acadia.
We really appreciated their quickness and attentiveness to respond and get the process going. And they just made it a really easy, enjoyable experience.
Building a home right now in this market, to be honest, is tough. Finding a home in general is really tough. And so when we were looking at home prices, we found that there wasn't a huge difference between building our own home versus trying to find a home, maybe a 5-6 year home that's been on the market. But we wanted a custom home that was going to fit our needs. We wanted to be the first people in our home and have it really feel like us. We're pretty unique. We like to entertain guests. We like to have a lot of fun with our friends. And we have a giant dog. We have a lot of different needs. We're pretty needy people. And so I think building a custom home gave us the opportunity to really, customize it and tailor it to what we need.
I really wanted a big island counter. And my one specific request was to not have my kitchen sink on the island. So I wanted it to just be like this big open island that you couldn't see where dishes were. I also really just wanted the open concept, and I really just wanted to have unique finishes that were not similar to other people.
So we lived in apartments before this, about 3 minutes away from here. And so when I'd go on my morning runs, or not that many morning runs, I won't pump myself up that much, but we'd come over here, while we were building it, while they were digging it out, and through every step of the process, it was really cool to see it kind of come to life. And one of the things I loved about working with Acadia Homes was that they allowed us to kind of make changes on the fly. So one time we came over and we saw the window cutouts, and we said, I wonder if that's too low. I think we decided to raise them. We saw a room that just seemed a little bit too small, and so we're like, what if we extended this back wall? And Cody was willing to do that. So Acadia Homes was just really, they fit every one of our needs. And throughout the entire process, it was really cool to see it come to life, but also have a hand in how it's coming to life.
We really felt comfortable with the opinions and suggestions they were giving us, and we never felt like they were trying to change our minds, but they were just really honest and I think this will look really beautiful, and I really appreciate them being genuine with their responses and not trying to change anything.
It's kind of interesting, but even when you just call a builder out of the blue, how they answer the phone and talk to you is very telling of the type of person that they are. And I think, when we were driving around the valley, looking at different lots, looking at different home builders, we would just kind of call them on the fly. And at some of them, you definitely felt like you were being a nuisance, or that they were like, I'm busy right now, I don't have time to talk, which is totally fine. But Cody, even though you could tell he was on a job site, took our phone call, talked us through everything, and we came up with a time to meet later on. And so I think him giving us the time of day, you could really tell that there was a difference. And then through the early process, we were very particular, about the type of home that we wanted to build. And some builders would kind of just dissuade us from doing certain things. And it felt more like it's just something that they didn't want to do versus something that was possible. And I didn't get that feeling once with Acadia Homes.
I feel like a lot of people were very against us bringing a floor plan, but I think they were just really open, and they were just I think we can build it for this amount. And I really appreciate them just being honest and saying this is what we think we can build it for, and they were open to it. And I think that was actually the deciding factor, because a lot of people weren't open to us bringing a floor plan.
Yeah, and we've recommended Acadia Homes to all of our friends looking to build, even if they aren't sure if they want to build, but they want to talk to someone and start the process. Acadia Homes is going to listen to you, and they're going to make it really easy every step of the way. And so couldn't recommend Acadia Homes enough.